All right. So this week I have 3 quick tips that I want to share with you guys. These are tips that over thousands and thousands of prospective buyers I've worked with. I think these are kind of 3 of the most important things that I've seen over the years. So, my tips for buyers: always ask for what you want. So don't just assume that a seller won't go for it. Often, a seller might not even know how flexible they are until they're presented with an offer. So we see this all the time. A buyer comes in, we start working with them, they say, I will not accept anything lower than $1 million on this business. Don't even talk to me about anything a million below. I'm not even going to look at it. And then as we start, the business is on the market, we start getting inquiries. That's when we really kind of find out what people are willing to pay for that business. And so just because the seller says they're absolutely firm doesn't mean that they're absolutely firm. A lot of times, if you get an LOI in front of them, so this is another important thing. Don't be shy about submitting an actual LOI. And we do this all the time. We have an LOI template that we send out to people because they say, I have this offer, but I don't know if they'll accept it. A buyer is more likely to take an offer seriously and actually consider it if there is an LOI, because then they know that you're in it. You are serious about it. So it's amazing when they have that paper in front of them saying what they could get for their business. It's amazing how flexible they can become. All right. Number 2 is be ready with identifying information. So sellers want to know a bit about you before they tell you anything about their business. We have people that email back right away and say, get me on the phone with the seller. I have questions. And that's great. We love that. We love that people want to talk to the sellers, but most of the time sellers are going to have some prerequisites. So if you share a LinkedIn profile URL, that is super helpful. We can get to know you a little bit, see that you're actually a legit human being. That's always nice. Links to any current company websites you might have, a personal statement about why you're interested in the business. That's a pretty important one. Buyers really like to know ahead of time before they feel like they're wasting their time with a potential buyer. They want to know, why is this person even interested in my business, right? And then some sellers even require proof of funds before the first call with them. Some buyers have been burnt in the past. And so they're a little more hesitant, and some
Sellers.
some sellers have been burnt in the past and they're a little more hesitant. Also, they're busy. We're all busy, and they want to make sure that when they're getting on a phone call with someone who wants to buy their business, they want to know that the person actually has the ability to buy their business and they're not just wasting their time. And the third tip is it's okay to show excitement and plans for growth for the business you're looking to acquire, but maybe keep some ideas to yourself. So here's my point on this. Sometimes we have seen this a few times where someone wants to sell their business. They're kind of burnt out. They're ready to move on to the next project. They want to sell their business. And we get a flood of buyers in, and they have phone calls with these buyers. And the buyers are excited, and they're saying, oh, I want to do this and this and this and this to grow the business. And they're showing all this excitement, right? Which is great. However, sometimes that excitement has actually reinvigorated the seller and given them ideas for growth that they had not realized themselves. And they have pulled the business off the market and decided, yeah, this business isn't so bad. These people think it's great. Maybe I should keep it, and I'll try to grow it some more. So those are my tips for that. And I think Marty has a comment on number 3.
I do. We have seen that happen where buyers have come in and asked sellers questions. Well, have you thought of doing this, or why haven't you done that, or etc. And then the seller kind of like goes, oh, well, maybe I will. And then they've pulled it off the market. The other thing we've had happen is buyers come in and kind of ask those questions, but you come off as a buyer, you come off as maybe arrogant or off-putting, and it's almost like condemning is the word I'm looking for. You go, well, why didn't you do this, and why didn't you do that? And it completely offends the seller to where they don't want to sell to you. Even if your ideas and your questions are kind of are valid, like, well, why didn't you do something as simple as, whatever it is, start an affiliate program or run Facebook ads. The reality is every business owner is leaving money on the table. No matter what the business is, they're leaving money on the table. As smart buyers, you want to identify those areas where they're leaving that money on the table, but you don't necessarily want to point it out all the time. But if you do point it out in a compassionate way and not kind of a condemning way, because we've seen deals go south where very well qualified buyers have been interested in buying a business, and the sellers literally were like, I'm not selling to that person, that guy's a jerk. And so the underlying tip for this, I think, is, and it's interesting because tip 2 and 3 kind of tie into this, which is, remember, this is as much a relationship game as it is a numbers game. Building a strong relationship with as a buyer, building a strong relationship with the seller and vice versa can go as far as or even further than what the numbers on the paper look like. So great tips, Becky. Thank you for that.